Saladin here from Love Life Yarn, and today we're going to be learning how to knit for crocheters. So you will need a trusty hook that's recommended for the size yarn you're going to be using, and the needle, also the same size. These are both 10 millimeters, or you can also use a hook size that is about 1 or 2 sizes larger for a little bit more of a stretchy cast on. And I was a knitter first, and I struggled because I learned my right hand to throw it, and then I learned how to crochet, and it just felt more natural. And so we're going to hold the yarn the same way we do in crochet, and we're going to use our hook at the beginning. So it's going to make it a lot easier. So follow along as we learn how to go from crochet to knit. When working the crochet cast on, you want to get a hook that is the same size or maybe a little larger than the needle you're working with. Mine are both 10 millimeters, but if you need it to be stretchy, you're going to want to get a size or 2 larger in your hook. Now I've gone ahead and put a slip knot on my hook, so you'll need to do that. And then you're going to hold them together. Your working yarn is over here on your left, your crochet hook is in your right, and you're going to wrap around both of them and then pull through a loop. And this casts on 1 stitch. Move mine here. There we go. And so you'll do that same thing. You wrap around and pull through 2 stitches. So if you get really good, you can do it without having to wrap quite as much like this. I'm not really good at mine yet, but this is a technique that you can use with your hook. It'll be a little looser right here, except if you use a larger hook, but you just keep looping around and pulling a stitch through, and that gives you 1 more for each time you draw the hook through. So you'll end up with all of these stitches on. It's so much easier than trying to take another needle and reaching in there and grabbing it and pulling it through. And when you get to the last, let's say this was the last one that I wanted to do. Okay, well, I'm going to do 1 more like this. And then let's say this was the last one I needed. You just pull it loose and place it on the needle like this. And then you pull that tight. And that would give you your set of stitches ready to be worked into, which we're going to use our trusty hook to start that out too, just so you get the feel of it, because it can be very awkward going from a crochet hook to 2 knitting needles. I was a knitter first, and so I found it a little awkward too, and I was taught the English method where you hold it in your right hand and you wrap it around, and that's so slow. So as a crocheter, mainly a crocheter, I find that I really like this method better. Now let's talk about the provisional cast on. This would be done with waste yarn. So let's say this was the yarn I was not going to use. It was going to be waste yarn, and you would take it out later, and you would need to have that yarn easily able to be removed. You would actually chain a few stitches first and then work your crochet cast-ons. So same way, wrapping around both the hook and the needle. And then when you finish, you would chain a few more, maybe 3 like this, and then you would leave this, cut this yarn and leave it, and then you would use your working yarn to work into these so that later you could just pull this, unchain these, and it would easily unravel. So that's the difference between, if you see the provisional cast on, it's going to be used using waste yarn versus a traditional cast on.